The iPhone 12 Pro Max is like an upscaled version of the iPhone 12 Pro, with a bigger display and battery, but it also has an improved camera setup. It's also one of the most expensive phones you can buy these days. The Pro Max is made of frosted Gorilla Glass 6 on the back, and just like the other iPhone 12 models, it has a solid ceramic shield glass protecting the display that's scratch and shatter resistant. And of course, the whole device is IP68 rated for water resistance too, up to 6 meters underwater. A stainless steel frame holds everything together, and it has a glossy finish that doesn't provide a whole lot of grip. That plus the phone's size and heft make it not really ideal for one-handed use. This screen is larger than last year's Pro Max. It's a 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED, with a pixel density of 458 ppi. It still brings a standard 60Hz refresh rate though. And up at the top is again a wide notch cutout for the selfie cam and 3D scanner. While it is a bit of an eyesore, it's not quite as offensive on this larger screen as it is on the smaller iPhones. This display is a really nice one regardless. Blacks are quite deep thanks to OLED technology, and color accuracy is excellent. You get true tone automatic white balance adjustments based on ambient lighting, and maximum brightness is really good. We measured 822 nits. Using the Pro Max outdoors in the sun is a breeze. For audio, the iPhone 12 Pro Max has a pair of stereo speakers, a hybrid setup with one speaker at the bottom and the earpiece acting as the second one. Just like the iPhone 12 Pro, iPhones don't use a fingerprint scanner for biometrics, but instead use Face ID recognition to wake up and unlock the phone. It's super fast, reliable, and secure, but your face has to be visible to the camera and 3D scanner for it to work, so no face masks. For storage, the iPhone 12 Pro Max has either 256 or 512 gigs on board, which should be plenty. It's not expandable though. All of the new iPhones come with the latest version of iOS 14, which is also rolled out to older iPhones as well. One of the most notable features you'll find on iOS 14 is that the home screen supports widgets now, which you can stack to save space. And like Android's app drawer, iOS has an app library. When you install your apps, they'll be found here, and they're automatically sorted into categories. Picture-in-picture mode lets you minimize the supported app into a floating window, so you can multitask while keeping an eye on a video you're watching, for example. And you can assign functions to a couple of new shortcuts, which you'll access by double or triple tapping on the back of the phone. Quite handy. One of the major upgrades you'll find in the new iPhones is a new chipset, Apple's A14 Bionic, which is built on a 5nm process. In benchmarks, the iPhone 12 Pro Max beats last year's model quite handily, scoring about 20% higher in CPU tests. GPU scores aren't quite as dramatic an improvement, but they still come out on top here. Overall, these are some of the best numbers we've seen. And in addition, since there's a Qualcomm 5G modem on board, you get access to 5G network speeds as well. And what's even better is that unlike the smaller iPhone 12s, especially the Mini, the Pro Max does a good job as far as thermals go. Though it does get warm, we didn't notice any thermal throttling, with prolonged sessions of benchmarking or gaming phones. It did a great job in our proprietary battery tests, scoring an endurance rating of 95 hours. The Pro Max supports fast USB power delivery charging, but there's no charger included in the box this year. With an Apple 20-watt charger, we were able to take the battery from 0 to 55% charge in half an hour. This year's iPhones bring support for something called MagSafe. You can attach certain magnetic accessories to the back of the phone. This includes things like wallets, as well as the MagSafe wireless charger. It's kind of neat how the magnetic charger snaps onto the back of the phone, but we weren't impressed with its charging speed. It was only able to charge from 0 to 28% in half an hour. Now on to the iPhone 12 Pro Max's 12-megapixel triple camera setup, which offers some upgrades over the likes of the 12 Pro. While the ultra-wide cam is the same, the main camera has a much larger sensor here, with sensor shift stabilization rather than OIS, and the main cam. These are good, with high contrast, low noise, accurate white balance, and realistic colors. Dynamic range is wide, yet natural looking. However, if you were expecting something much better than the other iPhone 12s here, in these situations the results are pretty much identical. This includes the issues we found with the rendering of fine details. The overall detail level is nice, but complex things like foliage, grass, and window blinds appear smeared and over-sharpened when you look closely. Photos from the ultra-wide camera are excellent, with a super wide field of view and nice distortion correction. You get great contrast, accurate colors, and reasonably wide dynamic range. The detail level is decent too, but foliage is again a challenge. The 2.5 times zoomed photos from the telephoto camera are superb. You get high contrast, spot-on colors, and well-balanced dynamic range. You get plenty of resolved detail too, and while the foliage can be hit or miss, the problem spots are not as apparent as on the main camera. Portraits on the Pro Max are something special thanks to the LiDAR scanner's depth mapping. They're shot with a telephoto cam by default, and they are excellent, with great detail, contrast, and colors. The subject separation is spot on, and the defocus backgrounds are pleasant too. Now on to low-light shooting. Night mode triggers automatically in low-light scenes, and works even faster here than on the 12 Pro. You hold the camera still for just 1 second, and these shots from the main cam are admirable. They're detailed, with low noise, balanced exposure, and well-preserved saturated colors. The highlights are handled very well too, and shadows look realistic. Portraits can be shot in night mode with the main camera. These are simply outstanding. There's plenty of detail, very low noise, excellent subject separation, and lovely looking backgrounds. The exposure is plenty bright, and the colors are fantastic. The ultra-wide camera also supports night mode, and these shots are okay. They have balanced exposure, a decent amount of detail, and preserved highlights. They are overall soft looking though, so far from great, but still quite usable. The telephoto camera sometimes works at night. Depending on the available light, you'll either get a shot from this camera, or a digital zoom from the main one. The telephoto shots are excellent, with a lot of fine detail, well-handled noise, natural colors, and good contrast.